It's Thursday. You know what that means? Time for a 420 draft. I've also got a beer here because my wife and kid are out of town for the next couple of days, so I got nothing to do. The bad news, I'll switch to this screen. The bad news is I'm waiting for this room to fill on drafters. So I'd like to have the draft fill, then I start the stream, then we kind of go naturally. Now I have to stall for time. So you're just going to watch me drink beer and light up a joint here on stream for now. But we are going to do a draft on drafters today. Of course, our goal to win $500,000 up top in a total points format, 17 weeks, no pods at all. So luck components out the window. And of course, that is thanks to drafters. Check them out. Link down below or use the promo code SPLASH on drafters. But open this beer. I'll be quiet so you get some ASMR out of it while we try to get something going here. There we go. Luckily for you guys, it's fucking loud as shit in my house because we have guys working on the roof today. Also, the puppy here, she probably wants to go potty. So we're in a good spot here. But please join me on drafters right now. And we can talk in general. I see the chat's been live for a while now. Yes, tell us a story. God, I have no fucking stories to tell for you. I'll see what comes to mind because I'm about to stall somehow. But shout out to the chat who's been hanging out. We got spurious news. We got Mr. Hoopy Butthole doing some bong rips. It's a 420 stream here, even if I am not doing it yet. Thank you, dog. That was really helpful. All right, and today I am drinking a Mango Indiana Pale Ale, the Crushing It from Cape May Brewery. That's it. Yeah, there we go. There's your plug. They'd kill me if I didn't plug them after buying the product myself. But talk about all the football news already for the day. Thought that the Anthony Richardson shoulder injury was an interesting one. To me, that's a spot right away with Anthony Richardson that I really haven't been taking him a bunch. You guys know, still have the jersey here. I'll never forget what he did for me rookie year. Also never forget what happened to him rookie year where he hurt the exact same shoulder that he had then. That's not great. I'll like the joint too while we do this. Maybe you'll make me more inspired to rant until we can fill this drafters room. For the record, the moment that I finished my DraftKings draft, I got to this drafters room. I've been waiting for 20 minutes for this draft to fill. So that's what you're getting on drafters. Pretty good shot at overlay. But also, sometimes you got to wait for a draft. So strap in, fucking smoke weed in the meantime. There we go. We are live. We are live. We're not live for a draft, unfortunately. But yeah, Anthony Richardson, I think the main thing for me would be that I think there's still a good shot he starts to the playoffs. So if you want to take Anthony Richardson, you certainly can. But for Daniel Jones, he's a more accurate QB. As I've said on stream a few times, thought that he was very live to win the job as it was because he's more accurate by about 15 percentage points, on target by about 10 percentage points more. Actually, might be even more than that. I'm just kind of talking offhand. For Anthony Richardson, I think he's not as good of a QB right now as Daniel Jones was last year. The thing with Anthony Richardson that he needed to do is to be out there every day, to be practicing, to be showing that he's the QB that people think that he can be. And he's not going to be able to do that now until actual training camp in July. There's a good shot he falls behind Daniel Jones, and he might have already been behind him as it was. So I think for Anthony Richardson, like his ADP probably has to fall like 20 spots. I think they should flip right now. Daniel Jones should probably go up to, to me, he should still go like 170s because I think there's a pretty good shot he doesn't actually start come playoff time. But he should be going like 170s, and AR should go for basically free at this point. And at that point, Anthony Richardson might actually end up being a thing that wins people a lot of money at the end of the year. I don't know that I would tack him on as a third QB in every lineup. Still think you get kind of the Justin Fields effect from last year. People took him a lot as a speculative QB, and he really didn't pay off in the way that even while he was playing, you would have wanted him to. But I think for the spot for the Colts now, I just don't trust either QB, and I don't think either is really draftable in a major way. But what do I know? I can't even fill a drafters draft. I'm at 11, and the guy at 12 builds a big Miami stack, and I reached on Tua by two rounds. Is that a dick move or just strategic / funny? It's a dick move, and it also made your team worse. That's not how you want to build for yourself to win money, Hank, but you can do whatever you want. It's your money. But I would be mad if I were him. He's also, frankly, you're building a big Miami stack. You shouldn't really be doing that this year of all years anyway. But yeah, the dick move, absolutely. To reach for him by 2 rounds, why do that? Why? Tua does nothing for you unstacked. He's one of very few QBs where like there's very little reason to have him on a team in general, but to have him unstacked a team, there's like no logic at all. So I would say bad move, but I hope it brought you joy. It wasn't me, so knock yourself out. Okay, this is how people are thinking in 2025. So, as I've mentioned on stream a few times, that's why, the tilting on stream over sniping half the bit anyway. But in particular, you can't get tilted about your QB getting sniped because people are doing things like Hank. People are doing that because they think it's smart. People are doing that because they think they're saving a room from the Cincinnati double stack. God forbid anybody gets Joe Burrow and T. Higgins with Jamar Chase at a value. Ooh, you're going to stop people from doing that. People think you're doing like a mitzvah for for sniping QBs. It's a tough scene. But we got 8 spots left, guys. So I can only make so many plumes of smoke before this. I'm setting out smoke signals for somebody to join the Drafters draft. But hey, I don't care. I could sit on stream and just smoke a joint and drink a beer. I feel like it's very, very, very Dennis Leary of it. I have some comedic bits I've been thinking about as well. Trader Joe's sells something called Cowboy Caviar. You know what's in it? Corn and black beans. It's called Cowboy Caviar. And salsa. What's the deal with that? We're going for anti-funny bits. Go full Eric Andre and just crash through things and be like, haha, there's the joke. I've injured myself. Haha. How we laugh. Oh, it was like a big drag this time. Oh, yeah. When you got to fill a Drafters draft, nothing helps more than a joint and a beer, and you're waiting for 6 people to join. For the love of God. Kill Tony level comedy. I am not a Kill Tony universe guy. I have to say that. Woo! That smoke got me that time. Oh, you got Westbrook at wide receiver at the end. Yeah, great pick. Really? That's the one that's going to carry you to the finish line for sure. But yeah, look, honestly, the big thing that was sniping, and I'll say it more on stream so maybe people can internalize it. Snipe as much as you want, snipe me, snipe whoever. You just have to recognize that you're probably costing yourself money. Like, that's the part that I think there's the biggest disconnect between. And like, look, you really shouldn't do it. It's poor form. It's like fucking splashing the pot and rounders kind of things. Certain blackjack etiquette things that you could talk in more length, frankly, not top of mind for me. Similar stuff there as well. It's just that kind of thing. Like, sniping is like a poor etiquette thing. You're also hurting your own EV. But like, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't know. If you're willing to lose your money, do whatever the fuck you want. Take 5 RBs, get sniped. Yeah, again, that's not... it's still not gambling. That's not good gambling, Hank. I appreciate you. It's like we're interviewing somebody. We're getting behind the madness of a man who will snipe 2 attack of Iloa 2 rounds early. You're just hurting yourself, really. Even if you want to get revenge in the world, even getting revenge on a specific player. And trust me, there are people I don't like in draft rooms who are drafting next to me who have like, sometimes I'm like, yeah, maybe I should snipe them just for fun. I don't do it because it's just going to waste my $25 or my $20 on drafters. Why do it? Why do it? But that's how I feel about it. I guess I'll put the joint down for a minute here. We got fucking 6 spots still. This is unbelievable. Shout out to all you guys who have joined the draft, whether you're watching the stream or not. I am in this is one of my personal hells, is not being able to fill a draft room. And I get it. I know on drafters, we're not putting a ton of entries in June necessarily. But you got to do it, guys. You got to max out drafters. I finished top 10 in playoff basketball with 3 entries. Imagine what you could do with 150. You think I'm stupid? You should be putting in 100 fucking drafts on drafters. I think you should leave. Santa says QB sniping is not good behavior. He's also dead, which is sad. Biff Whiff, the guy who played him, passed away. I think some sort of cancer, if I'm remembering correctly. So I can give you bad news. Pull the vintage Peter King thing of when he told the waiter that Robin Williams died. That's what I'm doing here, just ruining people's days by mentioning, that character I think you should leave that played Santa. He died for real. I actually, out of the Santa bit was good. I preferred, that bit too, the Shirt Brothers bit. That was my favorite. That song is actually pretty good. Like the fake song they made for him not wanting to listen to rules. Fantastic song. So there's no place I'd rather be my guy. I appreciate it. But judging by the 24 viewers right now, I think a lot of people would rather be other places. But I do appreciate you guys who hang out with me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't know what to do, man. Like, there's just best ball streams that I want to avoid competing with at literally every turn. Like, I go up against the ship chasing stream for this and for my stochastic DraftKings stream as well. I feel like there's always a Davis Maddox stream, and he cannibalizes me more than I cannibalize him. So I don't know. I'm just doing the drafts at this point. I give up. Did I know every song? I think you should leave as an original. Well, not the interstitial ones. Those are vintage ones. I'm at work or I'd hop in the draft. Hey, I think you do both, Bree. I think you could. We got 5 spots left. I'm going to fucking light up again. I only have 1 joint, guys. So if I smoke it now, it's not, I don't think it's on me. But that cowboy caviar, man, that's fucking bull. If I were a cowboy and they were like, yeah, your caviar is just some fucking salsa with black beans and corn, I'd be irritated about that. I'm not a cowboy, as you guys may be able to tell by my general lack of ability to do anything manly. I guess drafting, knowing football is pretty manly, so maybe not. But you know, like I'm not much of an assembly of things guy. Definitely not riding horses and fucking lassoing things. I'm not doing that. So I'm not offended by cowboy caviar personally, but I think it's bullshit that it's called cowboy caviar. It feels like one of those racist things that like oh, like you're the fucking cowboys would eat that. I bet. Put some slop together. Those fucking filthy AIDS-ridden cowboys. Have some of it. Anyway, that's my bit about cowboys. 5 spots left. If you don't fill this draft, you're gonna have to hear more of my poorly workshop comedic bits. Promise me another time, Spags. A million times I'll never do another rule again. Yeah. I'm very big on rules. I give out 3 rules every time I do a stochastic stream where I'm like, here are your 3 rules in best ball. If you listen to, you'll probably lose less money. The 3 rules, by the way, are very simple things if you watch my streams regularly, but knowing ADP, correlating, stacking up your QB, your wide receiver, your tight end, even your RB, if you think an offense is going to outperform. And then knowing that the money's paid out in week 17. So I say that every stream. So I do literally give out 3 rules when I do it. So Biff Whiff would be very mad at me. He'd be like, I'm not living the right way. I know that. Shout out Jack here, one of my favorite newbies in chat. I don't know if you've been around for a while, Jack, but I feel like in chat more lately. Appreciate you. Through PJ on the computer to support the stream today. Draft a shipper. Yes, we're trying. As soon as I can fill this drafters room. Here's the thing, those people know I've been drafting teams that are too good on stream. Because like literally my last 3 drafters drafts on stream, including when I spoke to Joint last week and did a draft, they've all been fire. Like I've been killing it on drafters. So I think people are afraid of being in these rooms with me now because like they see my teams and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to lose my money anyway. But don't worry, guys. We're not in the same pod on drafters. That's the big positive. So please use promo code SPLASH drafters as I fucking flounder here. I feel like we're doing a PBS donation drive. Nobody's watching. The only thing any of us lasso is an ADP value. That's true. I'm sure somebody out there, just knowing how big the best ball community / group of people that draft are, somebody out there I'm sure is doing like aggressively male work, like they're lassoing things and cactus. That's what I think people who do like outdoor, they're lassoing things and cactus are the 2 activities we're doing. You know, they're fucking doing manly things. Like I don't even do yard work. Like I don't know. Like I do, like I guess I do some. I do blow leaves. That's not the only thing, but you know, I blow leaves primarily. But we're getting the guys doing the roof today. If you asked me to do a roof, I would fucking die. Like I would. I don't know how you do that. It takes 4 guys to do it. It seems like based on the group we have today, at least. But like my God, I would fucking die. So I don't think I could lasso things. I don't think I could do a roof. That's my big issue. Anyway. Shout out to you guys. We got 4 spots left. Might take another hour to fill it, but I'm fine. Katie's going to have to go to the bathroom at some point, but she can't go out now anyway because they're fucking doing a roof out there. Spags 3 rules legit made me $5K last year. Guys, don't sleep on all the 3 rules. That's true. Look, if you live a life by the rules in best ball, you'll do okay. Rule 4, try to predict injuries. Rule 4, don't snipe 2 attack if I low at 2 rounds early. I think is rule 4. Got to buy a VPN. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. To hide all your porn, if nothing else. But also to get in drafts out of state, sure. So I just took my shirt off and cracked open a beer. Hey, cheers. I'm not taking my shirt off, Spencer. Like you fantasize about. Spencer, that's his bit, though. One of the most memorable bits that I get in chat. Maybe if I pop my shirt off, though, maybe this draft would fill. Longtime supporter just can only chat depending on the work schedule. Have to watch a lot. Oh, okay. Appreciate you, Jack. Glad to hear that. And right now, look, the community is probably as tight as it's going to be because I have to deal with the fallout of being mean to somebody and then them fucking losing their mind. So that's unfortunately my life here. But honestly, the guys that hang out here, part of what I like about having a smaller community when we do have these kind of ebbs and flows of viewership is like, I like that when I could just know people and by name and I know you guys in chat. I've said it before, like, I think the parasocial stuff that happens online is weird, but I feel parasocial sometimes with people that I hang out with in the community and like talk to in the community. Probably know more about some of you guys than I do some of my actual friends, like my real life friends. I wouldn't even say actual friends. Though I am not going to the ship chasing get together. I will say that. I need to deal with fucking weirdos there. It'd probably be fun because I just get lit and then hang out with the people I want to hang out with, but I also don't. I don't need the awkward part. Speaking of awkward part, let's just sit here in silence while 3 people fucking join this draft. I've already smoked basically the entire joint, guys. I don't have to fucking get like a backwoods blunt if we can't fill drafters' rooms faster. But it is 423. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, the bad boy of best ball. It's exhausting being the bad boy of best ball. Excited to see the new roof, though. Not excited to see how much it costs to get a new roof. That wasn't a good time. It's a good fucking $7,000 to get a new roof. I think actually more than that with a skylight. Again, I can't do it myself, so I'm not surprised it's that much. The motherfucker, man, they really get you. Buying a house is bullshit. Got time to roll another J or two. I can't do another one. I gotta walk the dog after this. I don't need to be like comically baked. And also, like, it uses so much weed. Like, I usually vape weed. And like, I'm not gonna vape weed on stream because it's not attractive. Like, I don't need to fucking have my big volcano balloon going like fucking. You guys would mock me even more. I have thought about launching a Twitch stream though to do something else to try to, I don't know, play video games, hopefully for money. That'd be the hope. I do think if I did that, I'd probably have to vape on stream because like I do usually just smoke out of a volcano. I don't usually light joints. But joints are wasteful. Like you spend so much weed for a high that's pretty similar to vaping, like 1/3 of the amount, 1/4 of the amount. I feel like bongs are pretty economical. I could bong. Better not Gabe Davis. Oh, what's Gabe Davis doing? What's that Gabe Davis doing? Oh, there we go. Anyway, I'm just clicking chats. Like an old school volcano, that's awesome. Well, not so I have the digital one, but yeah, it is like the one that a lot of people had in college. That's what I got used to, like the end of college, and I've never been able to stop doing a volcano. I just feel like the yield you get from it is the best. I certainly like smoking joints and stuff and like doing that if I can. And I like edibles, but like anything that's extra calories, I really like beer. Like I even am trying to not drink as much beer lately, though. Summer has not been helping with that. But yeah, I don't know. For like your yield, I think vaping is the best. I will say though, like I'm curious to see the long-term effects of vaping because I definitely know if I vape every day, like my lungs don't feel fantastic. Whereas like if I don't vape, they start to feel better. So I don't know if you get the long-term damage of smoking, but like I do know like the ebbs and flows of it. Like I cough way more than I should as a human being because of vaping. How's that? What games do I play currently? MLB The Show, NBA 2K. I've still got a My Player going on there. I did WWE 2K, but not that much. I did the island mode, and I've beaten that part as far as it can. And Overwatch is one I play a lot. That one I get real toxic on because I hate that. I hate Overwatch. Overwatch and like the best ball Twitter, like two things at the same time period, just really ebbed for me in a way where I'm like, I really don't like the people on this very much. So I usually actually will now mute Overwatch chat, not even participate in it. But I like that game. I like that's the one I gravitated more to. Tried the Marvel Rivals one, couldn't get there. Never tried Valorant, which is similar. But never got so much into Call of Duty. Fortnite I tried for a little bit. I hate stadium mode. I can't. It's too complicated for me. I also main Moira, who's a healer, and Reaper as DPS. And like the Moira stadium I did, I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Like, I don't know what to choose. It was too complicated for me. People seem to like it, so I'm glad they're finding something they like. I do think they should clean up the community, though. Like, people are really like, I play competitive primarily on there because like I'm pretty good at it. And I often when I get matched with people, it's like they don't even know they're not good. It honestly is a lot like best ball. It's like people that don't know they're not good at it, but spend a lot of time in it, so they think they're good at it. And it's like, well, that's why you're like you're gold or whatever. It's because like you're not actually that good at the thing, unfortunately. New Zelda's good. I know Switch is coming out. Switch 2. Shout out to all you guys who got a Switch 2. I thought about it, but I don't think I'd use it enough. I miss Wii Bowling desperately, though. I loved Wii Bowling very much. Wii Bowling, Wii Tennis to a lesser extent. Wii Bowling was legit a thing, though, I could see doing somewhat regularly. Even the Wii Fit I liked. I like the Wii was a great product. Anyway, we got one more spot left. I'm almost through with all the weeds, so I don't know. One spot, please, guys. I've had to fill the air for 20 minutes, and I do appreciate all you guys hanging out here. But we got one spot left, and I really would love it if one of you guys joined. I could start this draft and I could be done with the draft by like 5:30. Again, I'm not in a hard time limitation here. So this is the one day I could ride it out. Thank you. Thank you to the 12th man. And I'm not talking about the Seahawks. I'm talking about you, whoever joined as number 12. Shout out to Mr. Poopy Butthole. I don't know, BB or Camp. I don't know that name. OMG, look at me. I think that's Nolan. Irish Trendy. Don't know you. Wagga Wagga. Don't know you. I'm the KY. Of course, know you. You've got your new avatar again. Excelsior. Don't know you. Dulotumsky. Don't know you. I'm the Great. Don't know you. Mongoose. You're cool. Poopy Butthole. You're cool. YOLO. Don't know you. All right, so maybe I didn't fill this room. Maybe it just randomly filled on its own. maybe I'm not a draw anymore on drafters. I do think it's competing against ship chasing. I mean, they got Theo Greminger on. How could I don't even. I know that guy got hired by Fantasy Points, so I assume he's really good at what he does. I feel like that what happens now for me with fantasy people is like sometimes there are people who come up really fast and become really important names. And that guy might be doing it for 10 years and I just don't know because I don't pay enough attention. But it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, Theo Greminger got hired in Fantasy Points. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like good for that guy. And it's like now Theo Greminger is on ship chasing. Like, what is like is Theo Greminger an industry plant? Like what is I don't know Theo Greminger on that level, but guys seem to pop up now with a lot more frequency. I can hear those roof guys still banging around. Those roofers. Honestly, they seem like lovely guys. Boy, they made a fucking mess. Boy, getting your roof done. There's shit everywhere. Tried to take Kitty out before, and there's like parts of our old roof all over the floor. And like they also took out our skylight because they had to get a new skylight. Ugh. So fucking had another upsell there for that. Got a new skylight going in, and it's like fucking they had bits fell through the old skylight. I know these are first world problems, but it's really fucking expensive, guys. I'm doing okay with this bit. Like Davis Maddox probably making more money than I am doing this, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to panhandle." Hey guys, I'm gonna have to jerk off some dicks if you guys don't subscribe to my page. Like, dude, I'm gonna have to suck some dicks if I have to pay for another roof issue. But you got to replace your roofs. Also, I don't think my Davis impression was that bad. I haven't really dusted it up too much. This is what happens when I have to fill 22 minutes. We get to Davis Maddox offering to suck dicks for money. I don't know, guys. We're in pick number 10 here, though. Shout out drafters. Drafters, actually, I will say for them, one nice thing they did this week, they actually reached out to a bunch of people, myself included, over DM asking about some drafts that have occurred that they thought were kind of questionable, and to say like ask whether they thought it should be thrown out or not. So do appreciate drafters asking that. I think they were asking a respected quote unquote tribunal and included guys like I think Davis is on the DM, Liam, some other guys out there. Eagles was one of the guys too. But it was a nice effort by drafters. So shout out to them. They are thinking about you guys. And I know sometimes it does feel like on the other platforms and on drafters too, like maybe there is some colluding going on. So it's nice to know the sites are paying attention and not only paying attention, but also asking like what's beyond the pale and what's not. And it was like two different drafts where guys had taken players above ADP in round 1 and round 2. And it was like taking like Caleb Johnson one, like in the first round, taking someone else in that tier, like pick number 2. It was like bad, but it didn't really affect the room in a material way. So I think you kind of have to allow that. Like you have to allow some amount of shitty drafting unless it's across like an entire portfolio. So I think that, I appreciated them asking, me as one of the people, but also like, I think that, that is the kind of thing that you want these sites to do is to self-police a little bit better. We got Amon-Ra St. Brown coming off the knee surgery that people didn't know about. Reports came out today that he had a knee surgery after the season. I want to see if that results in these guys pushing him around the turn. But one of those Mr. Poopy Butthole, so he's probably not going to care about it. He knows he can hear me right now. But YOLO, maybe Ken pushing around. I would say on DraftKings in particular, where people do worry about Q tags a lot in June, July, August, just don't take Amon-Ra in the first pick. Try to see if you get him back to the second pick, because I think people are going to pass him up a little bit in some of those rooms, in particular on DraftKings. That was a good day. I think it was more of an impression of Pete doing Davis, but we got to try something. We got Puka Nacua, Drake London, my week 17 pairing of the year. Last year, Marvin Harrison and Puka didn't work out so well, not because of Puka's fault, but this year, Puka and Drake London, I'm cool with that. So we got to get some RBs in. Really trying to build more balanced teams on stream this year because I got people betting on me for, my advance rate in BBM. So God forbid I don't come through for them. For the people that are betting imaginary money on a tournament where somebody made up fake salaries for people drafting best ball teams, I got to make sure I come through for that. But really, it's more about the ego this year. Like, I still want to build good tournament teams, but I think in year 4 of me maxing out this stuff, I think it's now time where I should really be putting all the things I've learned together and getting results that make me feel really proud of myself. Obviously, we're still going to come down to luck when it gets to pods and things like that. Then on drafters, I'm hoping that my good drafting carries me well because of the fact that we are dealing with no playoff pods here. But really this year, I still love zero RB as a concept. So like doing anything that's going to be different from other people and makes them uncomfortable. But I think with how ADPs have aligned this year, you probably noticed me drafting differently on stream. And, I can talk about it honestly now that I've had this truth serum that I've been smoking for 25 minutes to try to keep a stream alive. But we're at the end of the joint, so I don't know, guys. I don't know. Today's a one day you could actually talk me into like going long too. But not if it takes that long to fill a draft or draft. I could do the single entry underdog draft after this potentially. Let's see how Kitty's looking. Because Kitty might be jonesing to go outside. I got those DK tickets, man. I'll suck your dick, man. Hey, look, whatever you got to do to max out your entries on every site, I think is the goal. As the summer goes on, I do feel less bullish about maxing out all 3 sites. I have to say that. I think I'm still going to get a lot of volume in on drafters just because naturally doing 3 drafts a week on stream and probably a few I'll do off stream here and there. That's probably going to be enough for me to get good volume in. But to get to 150, like I've gotten in 40 BBMs so far, I think just shy of that. And it's like, I'm drafted a good amount. Like I'm drafting like not around the clock, but like whenever I have a like hour of downtime, more like 40 minutes because the 20-second clocks might have been a fucking mitzvah. But I do think like it's hard to max out all 3 and spend the appropriate time unless I do some slow drafts, which I've been doing more of. Didn't max out the schnauzer on slow drafts. So maybe I'll just get more into slow draft hell. Anyway, we're smoking here as best we can. I might have to go get a bong after this because can't roll another joint. Minus EV to max DK anyway. I was very envious last year, only putting in I think I put in 7 entries total on DK because I was like pretty locked in on the underdog side of things. And I was like, oh, I know I'm giving away some EV, not doing it. And then seeing some of the teams that made the finals and like your wild card entries and all that, I was jealous. We're going 0 RB here, I think. JSN, come on down. 3 receivers to start, but we're getting value on JSN. It is PPR on drafters. If you're not familiar, very important thing to keep in mind. I like the start. It's just got to make it up at RB, and we're not going to be great pockets to do that right now. Like I don't like James Cook at his ADP with the fact he's going to hold out, and he's going to hold out deep into July would be my guess, and he will probably come back at that point, and the ADP will stabilize, but he's going to go down to 50 when he's not there at camp. People freak out. I think we got, another receiver is going to be the move here. If we're just soaking up value, Worthy is technically the value. I do like Tet McMillan a little bit more. And we are doing some week 17 correlation. So why not? Week 17 correlation is not going to help you on drafters, but it's not going to hurt you either. And you can vault later on. So top 4 picks for me are receiver, Puka Nacua, Drake London, JSN, Tet McMillan. I need like a no sign for this gif. I am not an RB picky today. I'm, in fact, eschewing running backs as the room gobbles them up. This guy took 3. M the Great took 2 out of top 3. Frankly, the room's not really gobbling up RBs like it felt. Really felt like everybody else had good RBs, but in reality, I'm, in fact, one of 2 teams right now that are 0 RB. So we got that going for us. Because 0 RB, though, like part of the reason to draft it this year, if you were going to do it, is it feels dead. Like nobody's actually doing 0 RB. Last year, they also were doing it still to some amount, and it worked out really poorly. But, just being off the beaten path a little bit. And I do think in general, if you hit your RB pockets right, you could still survive with 0 RB. It just doesn't feel as cozy as it has in previous years. And even for me, again, I was one of the last guys off the ship. I do think, though, like it's really easy at ADPs to get RBs who are good now, as opposed to previous years where it's like, oh, cool, I have to pay a round 2 draft pick for Josh Jacobs when he's likely to be much worse on the Raiders. Those times were not where I really wanted to be there. But now, oh, cool, I could take Bijan at pick 4, and he's entering his 3rd year, and he's going to be probably the most explosive he's ever been. Great. Like, I think that's a good pick. Saquon coming off one of the best years ever, even though he's likely got to come down no matter what. He's still going to be very good in that offense. I think from my perspective, it's been the big shift of how this is all gone now. The good RBs, people have figured him out better. Guys like Breece Hall, though, I think mispriced. Breece Hall in a committee, and he's going to pick 31. And like, you already had this bet made. You have Gibbs and Achane as a top 2. Great. Breece Hall disappoints here. You're not going to feel it, but it does kind of kill the team. So that's how it looks. I love to see the stream, Spags. You got to bring a little hat ashtray back. I still have the little hat here. I'm ashing it on the table because I really don't want to like burn through this plastic hat. So I used to use the pineapple that's back here to ash, but I don't do that anymore. Smoke if you got him. Hey, that's what we're doing here. When in doubt. Guys, show some love if you can. Again, just trying to do some different drafts on the channel this year because I do feel like it's a really oversaturated space. No shade on anybody. It's just there's a lot of people doing a lot of content out there, all hours of the day, of all sizes, and that's a lot. But I still show up and do my work here, give you my takes the best I can. I'm still keeping everything as much as I humanly possibly can. And that's what we do here on Splash Play. I gamble like you guys do on best ball, on DFS, on prop betting, and I try to come about it as earnestly and intelligently with data as I can. And you can follow me, you can fade me, you can do whatever you want. Just don't be a dick about it, mostly is all I ask for. And get to that if I'm a dick about something, usually it's me hamming it up. It's not, I really don't care that much. I try to have fun. Fun can come about different ways, I don't want to light this on my face. We're at the end here, and again, I do have a crippling fear of burning my facial hair. So that's one thing you need to know about me if you watch me smoke a joint on stream. Well, I am doing it. Nobody else out there will do it, guys, but I'll do it. And you'll see me get baked as we go. You'll see me lose competency to some extent. They're not a lot. All right, we got Pickens here is the best value. Not the most exciting click. Chuba Hubbard, I'm just not crazy about this ADP and haven't for a while, but he does correlate. Yeah, Chuba's a click. We'll stop starving ourselves at RB. I think Chuba should be priced more closely to Rico Dowdle, more closely, even if it's not all the way. Trevor Etienne still has some theoretical merits there. Chuba certainly earned a role, but they're paying Rico basically the same amount. So I'm not crazy about Chuba, but we had to get an RB in. And hopefully we'll get the good Chuba. We've already got a bet on Seattle, or Seattle and Carolina. So you might as well take one more bet on Carolina. Let's see. All right, one more pick here. And again, trying to make it up at RB. James Conner fits that criteria. One thing that shocks me about James Conner when I was looking at my numbers before, he had a 25% avoided tackle rate. Actually, might be closer to 26 last year. Let me make sure I'm quoting that correctly. Not Tanner Connor. And not Snoop Connor. Yeah, James Conner, a 25.8% avoided tackle rate. So basically 26. And that's across 15 rushes a game, 18.2 intended touches overall. Like, he was great. Still very much think that they've said as much. They want Trey Benson to take more work away. But I do think for Connor, like, he was so good last year, it might be hard to take work away from him if he's going to be a guy who's like that elusive at this stage of his career. But crazy to see a guy who's like Connor, who's been historically a power back. And obviously we all know he was good in fantasy last year, but slightly negative EPA per rush, which is fine at his volume, negative 0.01 EPA, but 0.08 EPA per reception, positive there. And again, the 26% avoided tackle rate, you're talking about him being like a Bucky Irving kind of caliber runner in terms of shiftiness. He was good last year. Like, he was really, counting stats for fantasy were good, but like underlying numbers also pretty good. Let's see. Everyone like and support our guys so we can continue these streams. Yes, please do, for the love of God. Check out Drafters if you can. I've been trying to keep the sticker off a little bit more here because I know it does take some size off the board. But show some love. Drafters.com, promo code SPLASH. Number one, you get on there for yourself. Your money will go further on Drafters. I've finished top 100 on Drafters in their big tournament a couple years ago. Finished in the playoff basketball finals this past year, top 10. Actually, top 12 if you want to be specific, but it's easier to say top 10. Finished top 12 with only 3 entries I did on stream. Again, that's what you get on Drafters. Your money will go a little bit further. If you want to 150 max it, they do a good job of incentivizing you to do that with a lot of free entries along the way. You get a free 1 to 10 entries. You get more at 25, 50, 75, etc. We're going to end up getting a good amount of your rake back as well when you max it out. But really for Drafters, they really try to reward you maxing things out because they need people to do it. And really, if you guys put in 150 bullets, I won't guarantee you're going to win all the money because I don't know what the fuck you're drafting like, but you'll have better shots on goal, I think, for your top prizes, and draft where you want to. But try to make some money for Drafters, I think. Even if you're doing the mini tournaments, it's a good site to play on. All right, so I think making it up at RB more would be fine. I also don't mind Cooper Kupp, but really not crazy about Chuba Hubbard as RB1, and I think we spent enough capital at wide receiver that we can go RB again, take DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift apparently bulking up a little bit for a bell cow role potentially in Chicago. Still reports about Roshan Johnson likely taking some goal line work away. But Swift, I think, has the opportunity to be the best version of himself in an offense that should be greatly improved. And Swift as well, I mean, really could have been better last year. 12% avoided tackle rate. Not my fave to see. Negative 0.13 EPA per rush, 0.05 EPA per pass. Positive there is a good thing. Not great last year, not lights out last year, but, good enough. Like Brian Robinson to round out RB further, like Darnell Mooney a lot as well in drafts. We do have the Atlanta bet already with Drake London. Atlanta, a team I expect to be improved this year. Michael Penix quietly having a great end of season last year. Michael Penix across every platform, one of the most mispriced QBs in my opinion. You can make the case to me if people really thought he was going to be the starter, and there's no reason not to believe that he wouldn't be. Like, he should probably be priced out. He played down the home stretch last year, right where Caleb Williams is, maybe even above him. But I think people think there's some downside risk that he might somehow not play, or that it was so small of a sample size he wasn't actually that good. He was good. Let's look up his numbers. Making the case for Penix, so somebody will snipe me in this room, I'm sure. 77% on target throw rate, so that's good. We're talking about not quite as good as would be a comparable QB. Tyrod Taylor, small sample size. Sorry, Penix is only surrounded by shitty QBs, so I'm trying to find a good QB. All right, so his catchable ball rate was higher than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson at 74%. Lower than a Geno Smith, lower than a Kyler Murray. Both those guys at 81, 82%. But I think he was still good enough overall to get the ball where it had to go. And in particular, he was efficient in terms of EPA. That's the part that I think matters more to me. He'll get the ball past the sticks, but a 0.09 EPA per pass by Penix, 0.08 EPA per drop back. Handled pressure decently. Could have been better. Didn't see a lot of pressure, but could have handled it better. Negative 0.8 EPA there. 4.3 deep throws a game. Good for a 0.2 EPA. Honestly, I thought these numbers were better in my head. I think the catchable ball rate, the talent around him is the main thing, and being improved in year 2 as like a fully vetted starter. And I think the fantasy upside was there in terms of counting stats. Underlying stuff could be better for Penix, though. In my head, it was better. I hate when that happens, but that's why I look at the numbers. I got to keep yourself honest. It's part of the process. Cheers, mates. Appreciate that, Olaf. Totally agree why Penix is that far from Caleb. I mean, Caleb was awful in all the underlying metrics. So, that no matter what, he should be priced near Caleb. But, Caleb's getting the glow up of a new coach coming in that people have wanted to see get his shot at running a team for a while. So I certainly get why there'd be a little more of like a hype towards Caleb. And Caleb's got, I don't think Caleb's got better weapons. Caleb's got similar weapons, I think. But I don't know. I think to me, Penix at the very least should be priced in the 120s. Like, he should be priced around bounce back Trevor Lawrence with the new coaching staff. That'd be fair to me. But even that, he's not even close to that. He's like 20 picks after that. That I just don't get. Even if he's not priced near Caleb, put him top 130. I think there's going to be camp hype for Penix over the course of the summer, though. That's probably going to drive the price tag up a little bit. Probably not all the way up to like here, but the next tier of guys, I would say, going to be pretty close. And guys, if you're tuning in, unfortunately, I've smoked all the weed. So that is the premise of these Thursday streams. But because the draft took a little bit longer to fill, I couldn't wait. So, we did what we could here. So I do have a beer though. I have a nice little 8% IPA beer, a mango IPA from Cape May Brewing. So we're going to do that too, but I apologize. I feel like I'm not delivering on the premise and the promise for some people that are tuning in right now. And I want you to know that I tried really hard. Just the draft took forever to fill. And, when you have a joint and 20 minutes to fill in a stream, what are you going to do? All right, we got 5 receivers in, so we can stop taking that quite as much. Jonnu Smith looking likely to come back to Miami, it seems. No screaming values here. I'll take Jonnu. Take Jonnu, hope and pray he doesn't go back to Pittsburgh because really had the perfect situation for himself in Miami last year. Commanded targets well. I think he commanded targets at a rate higher than Tyreek Hill, technically. Let me confirm that. Jonnu last year, 27.5% target per route run. Tyreek, 25%. So Tyreek really needs to rebound at an age where a lot of guys don't rebound as much. Tyreek also 0.19 EPA. Jonnu 0.34 EPA per target. Jonnu effectively better receiver than Tyreek Hill was last year. So any dip I've gotten in Jonnu, I've bought him a good amount. Again, we'll suck if he goes to Pittsburgh somehow, but I'm really hoping that's not the case. All right, for QB, still not a spot where we need to take our leap given the guys that we have. Bateman would help us out at receiver, but we need to make up more at RB, and I think Tyrone Tracy is a bet against Cam Scatterbo. Scatterbo had a viral clip with him on Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast. I guess he doesn't know any football players' faces was the key takeaway there of the clip, and people think he's dumb as a result. I don't think it's a sign that you're going to be bad at football if you don't know football players. Pat McMillan has also said in this offseason or pre-draft process in particular that he doesn't actually watch football a bunch. People are down on that a little bit, but he still went top 8 in the draft, and we still expect him to be, in fantasy right now, a top 40 pick based on ADP. But for Scatterbo, maybe that leads to a slight fall in some rooms. I still think for Tracy and Scatterbo, they're both very similar bets. Tracy can be a goal line back potentially. Scatterbo has been a goal line back in college as well, so he can earn that role. But Tracy, I think, showed enough last year. What didn't wow me with any of his numbers? Let's see. He was at a negative 0.1 EPA per rush, 0.06 EPA, negative 0.06 EPA per pass. 16% avoided tackle rate is fine, but as a young guy, you want to see him have a little bit more juice because that number is going to usually fall for guys over the course of their career, at the very least, if not the first 3 years. 1.3 red zone rushes a game for Tyrone Tracy. That's not the best showing of faith there. I think Scatterbo can win. I think Tracy can win in best ball drafts. Happy to get both sides of the picture here at, frankly, 12 to 16%. I think they're in a good spot for New York. I think New York is a team that I get why the Vegas totals are low. People are making fun of New York because they have their guys. Brian Burns punched one of the offensive linemen or something. They've got some negative vibes around them, but I think the offense is going to get figured out. I think the desperation of the coaching staff, maybe not a great thing, but should maybe get these guys to as close of a ceiling outcome as they can get. I like the picture for the Giants a lot more than the Vegas totals certainly would indicate you should. Didn't get your notification. Oh, I'm sorry, YouTube. I don't know what YouTube does with that. But yeah, make sure you hit the notification bell, guys, if you want to know when I go live. Sometimes I do start at different times. Usually, though, starting around, we'll be going by the time this draft stream starts. Today, though, is a special exception because drafters took a really long time to fill. So I guess that's going to happen when Ship Chasing is live. Everybody's got to tune in for Theo Greminger. They're like, I can't do drafters right now to see what Theo Greminger has to say. So I get how that goes. Does Gabe Davis interest you if he ends up in Pittsburgh with A-Rod? No, not too much. I think that whoever comes in when they sign Rodgers, I think you have to give a little bit of a sign of faith to. Lazard obviously last year ended up working out pretty well. They already had him, but when he came in with Rodgers initially. So for Lazard, I think that if it's not out of the picture to me that he could still go to Pittsburgh after they were flirting a little bit earlier in the offseason. Then he's like, well, I'm coming back to the Jets. Maybe they make a move for him because if Pittsburgh gave up a 4th round pick for Lazard, that'd probably be more than you'd ever think you would get for Lazard. But I think it's possible that whoever comes in for Pittsburgh when they bring in Rodgers, probably interesting. I would watch out in particular. If people are going to take a lot more Calvin Austin, I think those are the guys that Rodgers gets really particular with. And he might love Calvin Austin, but he also might go, can we sign this dude? Like, can we sign Keenan Allen maybe? Things can get a little bit weird, I think, for the Pittsburgh receiver rotation. So I wouldn't assume anything for anyone besides DK Metcalf, who now is a better QB than Mason Rudolph. And bad news for Will Howard too, because I think he could have started if Rudolph was there. All right, we're on the clock here. I think we want to make it up more at RB, though tight end doesn't look too bad. I'm going to go Rachaad White here. Just feels like there's not a lot of RBs coming up anytime soon. White, to me, happy to get him whenever I don't have Bucky Irving. And frankly, you can make the case to take him when you do have Bucky Irving too. But White's biggest outcome is certainly if he gets there, if Bucky got hurt or something. And taking more than enough Bucky at his ADP that I got to get some Rachaad White as the flip side of the take. Good take. Rodgers will definitely bring someone. Yeah, I mean, he's going to exert his power a little bit. He's going to have less power over that offense than he's ever had in his career because you don't pay Arthur Smith what they're paying him to not have him run the kind of offense he wants to run. I think it's a tough situation potentially there, but he's there and he'll at the very least throw some deep balls to DK Metcalf, and that gives me utility. And he's free in drafts, so that's where that goes. I could certainly push Penix. I could push that Penix around. But I don't really want to because I think we're going to run into a rush on QBs. So I'm going to go up and get Penix here. I'm going to take him where he's, to me, more than deserving to go. He normally has a 148 ADP, I think is what I just saw. 145 ADP. I'm taking him at 135. But I just had to here because we have the Atlanta double. It's not worth the risk. This room with a lot of friends and family maybe wouldn't have taken him. But Penix, I think, too valuable to this team. So the team so far is Michael Penix at QB, Chuba Hubbard, James Conner, DeAndre Swift, Tyrone Tracy, Rachaad White, at receiver, Puka Nacua, Drake London, JSN, Ted McMillan, Darnell Mooney. So really loaded at receiver with the early picks we made there, and Darnell Mooney a little bit later. And Johnny Smith at tight end. I like the start. I think we dug out a 0 RB fairly well. It's tough for this year to do 0 RB. And again, I really think Chuba runs the risk of being a dead zone kind of back. When they bring in ATN, when they bring in, a guy like Rico Dowdle for similar money to what Chuba's getting, I think that Chuba's just undervalued or overvalued rather. And I think too, people remember him getting a new contract, but don't recognize that it really wasn't a ton of guaranteed money in a way that moves the needle appreciably. Like it gave him more money than he would have had otherwise, but it's not like it wasn't a crazy payday for him. I just think Chuba's going to me like 40 spots too early. And Rico's probably going 35 spots too late. They don't have to be a 1-to-1 bet, but I think they should be like a 60-40 bet. In my opinion, at the very least. I think it's a more ambiguous backfield than people realize. Especially in terms of like who gets the touches around the goal line and stuff like that. When Rodgers reminds Arthur Smith how big Allen Lazard is, he'll be on a plane to Pittsburgh. Yeah, he can really run block well, hopefully. That could be it. It's so funny. My Apple Watch just said I hit my stand goal, and it's like, I'm absolutely not standing right now. I think maybe waving my hands around a little bit made it think I was standing. Because normally my Apple Watch is like, I have to go up and like go to pee in the bathroom and like stand there the entire time to pee for it to like count as standing or like go up a flight of stairs. So I don't know why it thinks I'm standing now as maybe I'm talking so passionately about Allen Lazard. Guys, appreciate y'all watching live or after the fact if you do, especially if you watch after the fact because you have to skip through 20 minutes of me not doing a draft. Please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. Again, I show up and do my work here on stream. Draft the teams as best I can. Tomorrow's going to be our big 3-way on stream where I'll hit drafters, Underdog, and DraftKings. And it's all presented by drafters as well. But please do subscribe down below, hit the like button, and I'll keep showing up here doing drafts as best I can. Don't have to be the most popular show in the world. Just have to give you the best takes that I can, and that's going to take care of itself. So that's going to take care of itself. I need QB here. Not going to let Bryce Young slip through my fingertips. We got our bet on Ted McMillan, so we'll be going Bryce Young here, pairing him with Michael Penix, and we can dock our Penix with Bryce Young. But you got the bet on Chuba Hubbard, bet on Ted McMillan. I like this team. Really haven't felt as comfortable going early receiver as much these days, just plowing away at receiver. But I did it today, and I think it's working for this build. Certainly some risk at RB with guys in ambiguous backfields. Like Swift could lose all the goal line work to Roshan Johnson. That wouldn't be crazy. James Conner can be scooped in a 50-50 timeshare kind of situation by Trey Benson this year. Chuba with Rico. Tracy with Scadaboo. White's certainly going to be safely behind Bucky to start the year. But, I think we dug out okay. And I think we'll make an inverse bet again, Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen, to me, another guy just way too cheap going here at pick 159. Would also say that for Braylon Allen, the coach speak has said the entire time period that's going to be a split backfield between Braylon Allen, between Breece Hall, and between Isaiah Davis. Admittedly, I don't take Isaiah Davis, so that could be a blind spot here, and we know there's ambiguity. We should try to take both sides of that bet, learn that the hard way with Washington last year, with some of the tight ends in particular. But I think that, and we've seen it in previous years as well, for these bets where there is ambiguity, but you feel really confident in the spot, and I do think a Detroit offense is already talking about running the ball efficiently, both with Justin Fields and the running backs. I think there's upside to be had there. I just don't think it's as locked into Breece Hall as it is right now. And Braylon Allen here at pick 159, I think he rounds out this kind of room here where it's all fairly ambiguous bets, but you got to take on that risk in some rooms. I like this team, though. I'm happy with this. Feels like an old school zero RB team, even though I had to take my first RB at pick 58, take another at 63. But I think this is kind of your modern zero RB team where you're still taking RB early, but if you hit 4 receivers, you feel like you got like a loaded receiver room. That's how I feel with the Puka, Drake London, JSN, McMillan receiver room. And Mooney is wide receiver 5. Like, if he's my 4, I feel great. If he's my 5, I feel like that's a really nice spot for him. I like to see him. I think maybe going Pitts with that last pick was a consideration. That might have been nice. I thought there was a shot he came all the way back around. Because Pitts has been in trade rumors. People, though, would have to pay his $11 million deal this year and his last part of his rookie deal. And they also have to pay at least a second-round draft pick is what Atlanta's looking for. Seems like teams don't want to do that, but hopefully Pitts is... I mean, Arthur Smith wouldn't want him, I would think. I was going to say, hopefully Pitts doesn't go to Pittsburgh. It would be kind of funny if Pitts went to Pittsburgh for the name alone. But I don't think Arthur Smith likes him. We got to go back to wide receiver at some point. Third QB, still an option, though not a lot of guys who would actually want for the third QB left. Zach Ertz goes. I would have been happy to take him as a falling tight end too. Zach Ertz undervalued. I was seeing Ben Sinnott last year. Really thought, and I still think if Zach Ertz weren't on the team, that Ben Sinnott would have found his way. We'd now be in a spot where it's like, oh, Ben Sinnott's blossoming alongside Jane Daniels. Because I think he would have done some similar things to Zach Ertz last year, but he didn't. And Zach Ertz was relied upon right down to their dying days, getting eliminated in the playoffs in the NFC title game. Zach Ertz was a really important part. I think he was on my best ball team that won last year too, or that finished really well on drafters, finished top 10-ish. Would think that for Zach Ertz, he's too cheap at 173. At a certain point, Ben Sinnott has to play, but it doesn't have to be this year. Mr. Poopy Butthole wanted Ertz. Well, you weren't going to get him past me, most likely, but you didn't get him past I am the KY. We got Brenton Strange here as a nice little discount, 15 picks after ADP, and I'm just going to absorb that. Not really a spot I need to go out of my way to get receiver yet. So Brenton Strange, come on down. You are my tight end too. Jonnu Smith, Brenton Strange here. No correlation yet, but at tight end. But, we'll see what we get later on. Headless Washington stack, still nice on drafters. Probably better on DK, though. Headless Washington, I'll take it because I think Jaden's going to be good. I just think your better shot is if those guys pay off. I think Washington without McLaurin has a good shot of paying off. And that's one I haven't talked today on either stream about. McLaurin's holding out now, and he's holding out for real because the team has not come to the table like the way it seemed like they were going to, based on the most recent reports. For McLaurin, I think he's trying to get paid now. Like, I don't think it gets better for him with Debo likely taking some of the short work that he had previously. We got DeAndre Hopkins here, Michael Wilson here. Diami Brown, who I like. But I think if we're just hunting late, I think Hopkins can give us some touchdown upside. Bateman getting signed for more money again, not a great thing for Hopkins. Kind of re-cements them in the pecking order where Hopkins is clearly your wide receiver 3. But I think Hopkins being an elevated version of Nelson Aguilar, getting those targets more reliably in the red zone and end zone for a Baltimore team that should score a lot of points. I still like Hopkins being a wide receiver 6 here, and we have, 4 more rounds to get other guys in, so Hopkins doesn't even have to hit. That's my logic for taking Hopkins, even though I don't love him as a pick for sure. Let's see. Yeah, nothing in chat. Shout out to all you guys hanging out. Appreciate you guys watching live. Again, do hit that like button. Please subscribe as well. I'm here doing drafts usually at the very least Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. and then the Friday triple header where I do Underdog, DraftKings, and Drafters all in one burst. That's coming up tomorrow too. I'm going to be adding some more in as we go as well, but definitely those are going to be the spots that flow most naturally here. If you want to see me draft on DraftKings as well, check out the stochastic stream I did before the show. I actually should put a link in chat for you guys because that was a good stream. I always feel like I do a good job in those streams, just that it's hard because they're not a best ball channel. Definitely swimming upstream for the viewers on there. But hey, that's the game. Here's the too. My old pal Greg, you could hear his voice, his dulcet tones. You watch the DraftKings draft if you want some other draft content on another PPR site. Might be wrong with the Terry stuff. Seems like agent talk. He was at volunteer workouts, but yeah, well then he left. Yeah, so it's the agent telling him that you can't just keep playing through this when they're not coming up in money is basically the thing that it sounds like to me. I think they'll still get there, but McLaurin to me has been mispriced the entire time. So like, please let him fall in rooms anyway. Because like the touchdowns he had last year, he did leave a lot of the big play touchdowns on the field, like way more than you would think. And I say that again as somebody that watched literally all of every Commanders game because that's how much I was in the bag for Jaden and McLaurin, but also Brian Robinson and whatever. Would think that for McLaurin, he's going to lose so much touchdown equity this year with Debo, with just the natural run good that he had last year. Like he needs to get paid now, but also his ADP just shouldn't be this high anyway because like, I wouldn't say it's unjustified, but it's like a little extreme. I think we're at kind of an end of a tight end tier break a little bit with Juwan Johnson. So I'm going to grab him here as our tight end 3. I think we missed out on Jatavian Sanders somewhere. Maybe not. Is he just lower here? And Jatavian Sanders still coming up. Whatever. I'm honestly comfortable taking 4 tight ends with this build. I feel like our receiver room either lives and dies by the top 4 anyway. I don't love a Jonnu, Brenton Strange, Juwan Johnson team. I'm going to put Sanders in the queue. Might try to push him around more if there's a better receiver to hit. But like Ayumanor doesn't really do a lot for me here. Tesla maybe does better if Amon-Ra's knee injury drags out. I don't really need him. I feel like receiver is kind of dog shit at this point. So I am going to do the 4th tight end now. I'm going to take Jatavian Sanders. Can really think our top 5 at receiver with Nakua, Drake London, JSN, McMillan, Mooney. That feels like an extreme 0 RB team to me relative to modern standards. I like that top 5. I think if that top 5 can't get me there with Hopkins and then 2 more picks coming up here at receiver that are going to be kind of dumpster deep dives, I don't think I'm going to win anyway. So I'm cool kind of letting that ride at receiver, but feel like I should have maybe gone receiver earlier, but I needed the other positions more. Oh, well. Recommend a Gatorade mashup. It's a new flavor. Mashup or mashup? Oh, mashup. Sorry. Well, on this way I read it, it looks like an O. And here it looks like an A. Mashup, nice high drink. I don't really drink Gatorade very much. I feel like it's like empty sugar. But I also, whatever. More power to you. Sure, it's good. But diehard Commanders fans, Harry's a much better football player than fantasy player. Agree on ADP. Just can't see a world where they don't work it out. They're going to work it out, but that doesn't mean, though, and that's a thing where maybe it changes in modern best ball. But like I've seen Adam Levitan talk about it a lot, where he's like, oh, like James Cook, his ADP shouldn't move because like he's going to be in there at some point and he'll play week 1. But like it does move naturally because when people then see him not show up in July to training camp because he's holding out, they're like, well, he's holding out. Like he could get traded. He might hold out into the season. And the ADP naturally falls a little bit. It's like you want to be mindful of when those buying windows are. I don't think right now with James Cook's ADP holding up, it's really a buying window for him. And maybe I'm wrong about it. Maybe like the modern markets now have caught up enough and they're like, yeah, James Cook, even if he does hold out, we know he's going to play week 1, so he should hold steady in a late 30s ADP. But I think what's more likely is that people aren't aware that he's actively holding out right now, and they will be when we get to July. Same thing for McLaurin. But I would guess some of these guys reach a deal. Like Cook, I just don't think will reach a deal because he wants too much money for what RB is being paid right now. McLaurin will get paid like T. Higgins money or something, and he'll be fine. So I agree it'll happen, but the ADP should still like fluctuate because that's what markets do. But I don't know. ADPs have gotten sharper in some other ways, so maybe that's one way they're getting sharper. Is like they're not overreacting to these momentary ebbs and flows. But like we know, again, you saw a guy in chat earlier asking about like sniping Tua Tagovailoa 2 rounds, like before where he goes. It's like there's still people out there that are like learning things about best ball that don't know these things. So I can't imagine the entire market is like smart enough to not overreact to James Cook holding out. We'll see. But McLaurin, like, naturally should fall a little bit because now you're under the threat of a holdout, even if he doesn't hold out. I think Cook has fallen 1 round since big board. Maybe since big board, but in BBM, he's held steady in like and I think overall everywhere else. I mean, Cook went 44 here. He's held high 30s. I think in some rooms I've seen him go late 40s, but I think his natural, with the holdout continues on, I think he gets to 50s ADP would be my guess. But, I could be wrong. Sometimes markets don't do it exactly like you expect it to, even though I think I read this stuff fairly well. It's possible that drop between big board now is the drop. Maybe. All right, we're on the clock here. We need a little bit more at receiver. I like Jalen Royals. As you guys know, I do think it's not great for him that Rashee Rice is in camp and full go already. With the initial reports about the knee injury, it was really thought that he was going to be a guy that would be out until training camp and then working his way back, shot starting on the PUP list. Now Rashee Rice not going to get suspended. Now not likely be on that PUP list unless he gets another injury or something. It makes it harder for Jalen Royals to hit. So I'd rather go Elijah Moore here. We don't have any bets on Buffalo. But it's possible a guy like Elijah Moore earns some work. Maybe he ends up being better than Josh Palmer, which isn't likely given the pay that they both are getting respectively. But it's possible. Royals came all the way back. I think Westbrook-Akine works. I don't need to do stacking here, really. Nobody in Carolina's left to stack with that matters. Nobody for Atlanta's left. I don't really need to do Ray McLeod. I think he actually got drafted anyway. So I'm going to go Westbrook-Akine here. Didn't prove to be a touchdown hound last year. Maybe you can do it again. Probably not, but he's a player. He's a player who got paid, if nothing else. The team that I finished with here, 2-6-8-4 build in 20 rounds. We got Michael Penix and Bryce Young at QB. Can make the case this could use a third QB here, but I do like these guys both greatly outperforming their ADPs this year and being priced around the 90s next year would be my guess for both. At RB, Chuba Hubbard, James Conner, DeAndre Swift, Tyrone Tracy, Rashad White, Braylon Allen. Feels like an old school 0 RB room to me, including the guy we have kind of some question marks about leading off the room, but I paid much more expensive price tags for it. So I think the RB room works. It's just a weird team to have in 2025, given I really don't think my top bets up top are like guaranteed a full backfield this year. At receiver, Puka Nacua, Drake London, JSN, Tet McMillan, Darnell Mooney. Love that top 5, including the Atlanta stack with Penix. DeAndre Hopkins, Elijah Moore, Nick Westbrook-Akine. Like the bottom 3, a lot less, but it works well enough. And then tight end, Jonnu Smith, Brenton Strange, Juwan Johnson, Jatavian Sanders. Cool to see him. I think it could have been a little bit better at receiver, maybe at running back too. I think there were some trade-offs here with getting so much receiver capital early on, but that makes the receiver room really potent, and it's still young. All guys who should hit their upside. It's at McMillan. Well, hopefully can pay off that ADP. That's how we got it on Drafters. And again, guys, do check out Drafters. They are presenting sponsor for this channel this summer, so please do click down below, drafters.com, use the promo code SPLASH, get a $100 deposit match on there. Same thing if you download the Drafters app, use the promo code SPLASH. But it does support the channel directly. Again, the more of you, the merrier. We'd love to start filling these rooms more reliably overall, but please do click that Drafters link down below, use the promo code SPLASH, or download Drafters on the App Store right now. Be back tomorrow with my triple header, Underdog, Drafters, DraftKings. Be hitting them all on stream tomorrow. So come stay tuned for that one. Make sure to gamble responsibly in the meantime, even though it is Always money time on this channel. Join the Discord too. $5 to join. Sports channel directly, and you can come in there and talk about basketball all you want. Basketball as well, of course. NBA DFS. You want to get my projections for that? You can do that too by joining the Discord. But join down below if you can. It supports the show. It goes a long way for me here. Just one dude showing you my gambling. Sometimes smoking a joint. Sometimes drinking a beer. Just being a bro. Just broing out here. Well, gambling pretty well. I think that was a good team. But I'll be back tomorrow. Don't know the time, but probably in the afternoon. Hit the notification bell, when I go live. I'll see you guys then. Enjoy your days. Good luck. And go check out my NBA Finals video too if you're going to play some NBA DFS today. Just $250K up top in the tournament on DraftKings. So that's what I'll be plunking some money at today. The money in the fire pit is what we're going to be doing today for NBA. But see you guys later. Enjoy your days. Good luck. And go watch that video. Bye-bye. And the DraftKings one too. There we go. Bye-bye.